Hello YouTube. Beautiful day. It's raining like crazy yesterday. Debating if I should mow the lawn, but I might wait till tomorrow. I'll check the weather. No rush. Yeah, I was smoking my Eric Stockaby with some plum pudding. Great stuff. Nice big bowl. Some Keurig coffee. And a paper cup that I've used yesterday. I was thinking about starting a new video series. I don't know. A new video series, basically like what's on my desk, the desk of Nova Piper. All these weird projects I get into. Like the YouTube pipe community, there's a whole community for do-it-yourselfers as well. Some really great resources out there, especially in like niche markets, let's say. You know, there's do-it-yourself YouTube blogs about making your own guitar pedals, for instance, which is what's really got me into electronics. And, you know, it's like, hey man, I can do that stuff. Started out by buying kits, and then I just buy. Now I buy all the parts myself. I had a bunch of parts come yesterday. Here's what I built yesterday. I put that together. That's I bought the PCB from this guy called Mad Bean or something. He already has these made. I went and looked it up what parts it involves, and then I went and I bought all the different parts. I don't know if you noticed, I made a video the other day where I was tearing apart a power amp for see what I could find inside of it. And two of these components on here actually were in there. TL072s, which are op amps, and they're pretty shitty op amps. So they're in a socket. I can just pop them out, put in something different. These are the ones I bought, not the ones in the kit. I'm going to try these. I'll put in the older ones that I had in there, see what they sound like. If I don't like them, I'll replace them with a different model altogether. See, what I'll do is I'll take this right here. I'm missing a part. There was a capacitor that I didn't have. I was checking in my thing. I'm like, oh no, so I got to either go and buy one or no, I'll buy a few. So what I'm going to do, oh yeah, and then some of these parts, those little silver parts at the top. Those two long silvery things. They're they don't manufacture them anymore. Germanium diodes, they don't make them anymore, so they're just new old stock that have been sitting around, and of course they're going to make you pay a fortune for them. The diodes below them are like, 3 cents each. These ones are like $1. Just to give you an idea. But what I'll do with this now before I assemble it in the box and everything. See them holes right there? That's where I'm going to solder in all the dials, the volume, gain, and tone, and all that. This is a clone Centaur. Did I say that? I've never heard one of them overdrive, so I figured I'd make one. There's a little switch in there. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this. Once I get the dials, the pots, as they call them, in there, I'm going to hook it up to this breadboard. So I'll solder some wires on here. I'll solder the, I'll solder my power on here. Power wires, but I won't put them on anything. The inputs and the outputs, but I won't connect it to anything. I'll just leave the other end of the wire bare. And then I'll plug those into here. And I'll plug the battery into here. And then I'll plug my guitar jacks into that board. And then I can test it out. Then I can plug my guitar and amp into it and test it out and see what it sounds like before I assemble it. The missing piece, I'll just solder some wires in there, and I'll just put a few capacitors in parallel and stick them into this breadboard. The wires in there, and you know, take it from there, make sure it works, troubleshoot it while it's still on my desk. So this is the kind of videos I'm thinking about starting, maybe a different channel. Nova Piper's desk. Of course, everybody's going to think it's a pipe. All about piping. Smoking pipes. I can do all kinds of stuff with these things. I'm playing with this too, my Raspberry Pi. Got call these a cobbler. This is just a ribbon, and there's the GPIO, general purpose input output pins that I've been using with Python. It's a programming language. Pin 1. So what I do is that connects on there like that. You know, you hook this up, power it on. You can take this breadboard and that. I can just snap that into the breadboard. Now that is connected to that, so I can just start running wires right off of that, and instead of having to try to work with those little pins. It's called a cobbler. Here's another cobbler I got. I've got another Raspberry Pi coming in the mail. There's a ribbon cable, and this one's got more pins, so this is for a newer version of that Raspberry Pi. But this one fits like this. I like how this one fits on. It's like a letter T. And it's all labeled, so what each pin does. And so the ribbon's out there instead of going like that. So you can see how this one fits on. Like that, and it kind of gets in your way. Yeah, so this is a cobbler. Who makes these? It's all open source too. Meaning, no brand name on that. Oh, Cumin. They just take open source shit and they do it themselves. I think the other one is made by Adafruit. They're a big do-it-yourself manufacturing place. Yeah, Adafruit. That one is. I'm not really playing around with this here. It's an Arduino. Arduino Uno. This is an open source programmable microcontroller. It's got a bunch of input and output pins on it, like in the top and bottom area, there and there. And this is just a little computer that runs Linux, and you can program these input and output pins using a programming language called Python. This is just this chip here. It's not a computer, it's a microcontroller. So this is what's in your, how the buttons in your coffee machine work. When you press the button, it performs a series of actions. It's how your car alarm works, or your home security system, or the display on your home theater and your TV, your phone, all works on this shit here. And what you do with this, this one's not made by Adreno, this one's made by Cumin, but it's identical. It's open source, so anybody can make these. They didn't patent it. It's not that it's patent, it's open source. Do what you want. Adreno makes their own, and they're more expensive and they're better quality. You know, these parts don't line up quite right. You got to wiggle them around, but you know, it's Chinese and it's made for a fraction of the price. I don't think it says where it was made. Probably China. Anyway, this here, you hook a USB cable into it, and it comes with a little interactive, it's called an IDE, Interactive Development Environment. I think it's interactive anyway. It's just basically a little front end that you use, and you program this with C++. And you say, I want to turn this pin on you know, this 5-volt pin, turn this on if this happens, and then that wire runs to something else and does, anyway. You know, and you connect it all up with this shit here. So that's kind of what I've been doing, making all these weird projects. I got all these, I got a kit, and you got all these different sensors, and, you know, you can get little tiny breakout boards that do specific tasks. You can run and make robots and servos, so you can do pretty much anything. It's just interesting how you know, learn how that shit works. So between making guitar pedals, playing with my Raspberry Pi, playing with the Arduino, you know, I've been doing all that on my desk the last few days. But last night I was up late too, because I'm trying to figure out how am I going to connect, how can I connect that guitar PCB to a breadboard so that I can test it, troubleshoot it, and modify it and prototype my own shit. I mean, it dawned on me how it was so simple on how to do it. So with some guitar jacks and a power supply onto the breadboard, and then wire what to solder off of this onto there. And anyway, it should be pretty cool. I'm going to tear some parts off of that power amp I got. Rip that apart and throw that shit out for garbage. The Enviro place, I guess it's full of lead. And yeah, you know, that's fun stuff. I'm really dying to get that guitar PCB connected. That's my next step. I'm going to start taking simple circuits. I don't know anything about reading schematics, so very little. Never took any courses from this stuff, but I'm going to take a very basic, start with a guitar pedal, and take a very basic guitar boost circuit or distortion that's out on the internet, and I'm going to design my own. I already have the software. I'm going to design my own PCB, and they're really cheap to manufacture. I think you can get I forget what it was, so much per square inch. I think one of these PCBs would cost, 3 of them would cost $20 to make. Free shipping, worldwide. It's US dollars, I think. You know, I forget. Anyway, that's pretty damn cheap. It's not too bad. Paid by the square inch. I think it's like $5 a square inch or something. And you get 3 of them. 3 boards. So, be my next step, design my own shit. Open source. Anyway, this pipe's gone. I know I've been talking too much. I'll let you all go. Thanks for watching, and I don't know, we'll see what you think. If I might start a new channel and do some of that. You know, just put some of the projects that sit on my desk. No idea what to call it, but it'd be kind of cool. There's one out now that I've been watching lately, is Adafruit's a manufacturing place. Just this young one who is an electrical engineer and started her own manufacturing company in New York City or something. And this is what they do. They like to tinker and hack shit and tear stuff apart, and, you know, open source and all this. And so one of them products I got from her company through Amazon. But yeah, it's she has a video series called, she calls herself, her handle is like Lady Ada, so she goes the desk of Lady Ada, and she sits there, and, you know, for an hour and a half you watch her build shit or troubleshoot shit, but she doesn't show you, you know, oh look, here's what you get a lot of videos of. Oh, here's a circuit board, and I'm going to put all these parts on it, and then cutscene, you know, they come back, it's all done, it works great. But what they don't show is the 6 hours in between it took you to solder it together and troubleshoot it. With hers, she runs into problems, you sit there and watch her try to figure it out. So that's really cool. But it's called the Desk of Lady Ada. It's a channel on their webpage, but it's like a playlist. So I don't want to call that the Desk of Nova Piper. I'll come up with something cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.